Nope.
Welcome to InstructureCon recommendations. Welcome to Get Your Backpack Ready from the Canvas casters and a couple of outstanding educators. This is Marcus Painter here with my radio voice. We'll be kicking things off shortly, so stay tuned. What do you guys think so far?
Da-na-na, da-na-na. That's probably copyrighted.
Nice.
You probably shouldn't have done that.
No, that's
Can
awesome.
I opt out?
Well, we've broken a
always a
couple
good
of
time.
we've got copyright issues already.
No big deal.
I think we're here, we're live. Welcome to Get Your Backpack Ready for InstructureCon 2022. My name's Marcus Painter, and I am here in Salt Lake City at HQ. Beth Crook is in the building virtually, and we just wanted to take the time here to sort of get out here in the interwebs, as they say, and talk a little bit about InstructureCon. And I've got two really amazing ladies here with me, Carrie Gardner and Lindsey Hallett, and they happen to be outstanding human beings. They are super good friends. They let me be friends with them, which is extra cool. And they've got a lot of experience in terms of InstructureCons, and they happen to also be the sort of the administrators of the Canvas for Elementary Facebook group, which so many of you guys are members of. And if you're not, check it out. Even if you're not an elementary teacher, by the way, I think there's just tons of learning that can happen there. But we wanted to take some time here this afternoon, evening, depending on where you are in the world, to just sort of give folks a little bit of a look in on what's coming up in a couple of days at InstructureCon 2022, give you some ways to make sure that you're ready, get your agenda ready, give you some ideas and some basically some memories as well. So let's start off and let's let these wonderful people introduce themselves more formally.
All right. Well, here we go. Next slide, please, Marcus, because of course.
Oh, hold on.
Our
Hey!
Facebook group was like founded on Bitmojis, right? So that takes us a little, this kind of gives me a little bit of like, this takes me back to the beginning of the pandemic. There's Bitmojis involved, but it has become part of the Facebook group. So we figured we'd continue that trend. But yep, I'm Carrie Gardner. I live in Kansas City, Kansas. I am an instructional coach at Piper High School. So the district where my kids go to school, which has been pretty awesome to have all of a 5-minute commute. I think I could walk it if I really wanted to and it weren't so hot. Yeah. So yeah, but like Marcus said, Lindsey and I, created and founded and are now admins of the Facebook group. And it's kind of one of those things that it grew legs and it now sort of, takes care of itself. And we love how, people are continuing to interact and answer questions, especially as like a new school year starts. We know a lot of people be bringing Canvas on board. And so we hope that some of the sessions that you'll see on Thursday can, kind of help you with that transition. Or if you've been using Canvas for a little while, but maybe been using it more of like a, got it during the pandemic, now what? These sessions can sort of be that now what for you. So we'll share our recommendations with you and just see where the night takes us. So
The night? Oh, gosh.
I blocked off the whole night. We're going to get crazy.
Everybody get comfortable. We're 4 minutes in. Carrie wants to stay here until it's dark out.
Get yourself a beverage, Bev.
So yeah, find a Bev, find a comfy spot. Lindsey, tell everybody out there on the internet what your story is.
Well, I'm not going to be here all night, but I am sticking around for the recommendations. Hi, everyone. I'm Lindsey Hallett, and I am part of the Facebook group as well. And I'm an instructional designer in Overland Park, Kansas. And I love all things Canvas, blended learning, tech, collaborating, and especially the Canvas fam. So we consider you part of the Canvas fam. So we're glad you're here to hear our recommendations and get excited for InstructureCon.
And fun
Outstanding.
fact, we've never met Marcus in person.
That's true.
There's like times where like literally reference, actually there's a lot of Canvas fam that I've never met in person. And I'm like, oh yeah, like my friend. And I'm like, oh, my friend in Wisconsin, shout out to Tammy and Felicity. I'm like, my friends in Wisconsin that I've technically never met. And like, oh, this gets
Right.
weird. It sounds like I have some sort of weird internet friends, but it's not. It's the Canvas fam. So yeah, so fun fact, we've never met Marcus in person, but we do consider him a friend. So
100%.
That's so true. That's so true. It's a crazy thing, and that's why as we are getting back into things, and not only looking forward to this week as a virtual event, but looking forward into the future. Obviously, we're going to be able to meet in person, and then everybody can say, "Oh wow." I get a lot of, "Oh wow, you're really tall," and sometimes I'm not sure how to take it, but I'm going to say thanks. But yes, definitely a good time, and yes, we're friends and fam, even in spite of all of the obstacles that we've had over the last few years. My name is Marcus Painter. I'm the Senior Manager of Customer Advocacy here at Instructure. I am also I guess I would say I'm some of the brains behind the Canvas Casters podcast. And I co-authored Canvas LMS for Dummies, which is not to be taken, don't take offense to it, people. All right.
Hey, I read it. It helped me. So.
I think here's the thing, like it's for everybody. Speaking to what Carrie said about, starting the new year or being new to Canvas, wherever you are in your journey, that is one of the many support materials that are available, right? So if you're a person who likes to dog ear pages, highlight things, get into it, then it's definitely worth checking out. But we've got so many great resources out there already with the Canvas community for all the great support there. We're talking with two folks here who are, advocates, who are supporting, Instructure products, who have the expertise that are the Jedis, if you will. And so there's just so many options, and InstructureCon just kind of brings it all into like one day. But what we're going to talk about later is that it's not going to be just one day. So there's plenty to get excited about. I am queuing up.
Okay, but real quick, I have to. Yeah. Someone from the Facebook group asked where they could find your book. Now I know you can find it on Amazon because I was on Amazon Prime earlier today and I definitely saw it there. So, but are there other places, or is that the best place to go for the Canvas for Dummies?
Yeah. Well, yeah. So it depends. It depends. If you're just buying a copy, small purchases, go to Amazon. Amazon got the deals. You can definitely, when we actually had this happen recently, a district made a large purchase because they have a whole bunch of new teachers coming in with a whole bunch of not knowing enough about Canvas yet. And so they were anticipating a large turnover. And one of the things they were doing with onboarding was to provide that book as a resource, in addition to their own PD and all that stuff, which I thought was a great idea. And honestly, I think at this point, just send me a direct message to @CanvasCasters on Twitter, or CanvasCasters Facebook, or @CanvasCasters on Instagram. Any of those. And I can get you in contact with the right people. Awesome. So thank you for Carol. Thank you so much. Good question. And thanks for Carrie. Thanks for stopping me and pointing that out, because I mean, come on, it's amateur hour here with me trying to run this.
Well, we're going to do a little shameless plug as our first recommendation, so I couldn't not shameless plug your book. So,
fair enough.
Moving right along into the recommendations, our first is a bit of a shameless plug. So, so Lindsey and I hosted a session on digital content stations. without giving everything away, all the good stuff. No, I'm only kidding.
No spoilers.
Yeah, no spoilers. Well, we basically just kind of go through and talk about our experience with creating digital content stations within Canvas and really leveraging it in a face-to-face classroom. Because obviously a lot of us adopted Canvas during the pandemic. And so it's just kind of a way that you can clone yourself, clone that learning experience, put it into Canvas and have it really be more intentional, more meaningful, more engaging than necessarily that kind of prepackaged stuff. So it's kind of taking your materials, putting them in a digital space and allowing students to explore them. And so we just kind of talk about our process and how we designed it and how we developed, some templates and some structures that sort of made it a little bit of an easier process for us. And that's what we share during that session. So, and by the way, I am not a digital learning facilitator. I don't know how it does that. I probably clicked the wrong button. It is totally probably user error, but that is not my title.
What is it?
You sign
So
up.
hyper people here and they're like, Carrie, I don't know. You just made up a title for yourself. I don't know how that happens.
What is your title?
For last year, I was a secondary instructional coach, and this next year I'll just be at the high school. So I'll be a high school instructional coach.
Okay.
I'm kind of our Canvas person on the side as well.
Yes.
The best
Canvas
part about
Carrie is.
Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, Canvas Carrie has become a unique thing for me. I don't know if they love it or hate it. I don't know.
I think the best part about our session is that even though we're former elementary teachers and we're plugging this in our elementary Facebook group, that the digital content stations are something that you can take back to your middle school, high school, even higher ed classrooms and replicate. So it's a win-win for all of us.
Yes, you stole my idea. That was exactly what I was gonna chime in with. Is a lot of times we all know this as educators. You go to conferences, you sort of make your agenda, and you're really trying to give your best guess based on a title and a short abstract like what you see here, and sometimes that is dead on accurate to what you ultimately see and experience, and sometimes not so much. But I think that one of the things that I always enjoyed about attending PD or conferences, in person or virtual, is that even if in this case, if I'm not an elementary teacher and I'm not a person who maybe has used a sort of station approach, I can take that's the kind of session I probably need to go to. I probably don't need to go to the session that's a bunch of stuff that I'm comfortable with. And so, to that point, secondary, middle school, I didn't do a lot of station stuff as a classroom educator, but because of, I shouldn't say most, but with so many of us being one-to-one, it's like, how can you, and we saw it in this chat because we've said this before, Canvas in particular gives you that opportunity to clone yourself, or it's sort of that Multiplicity movie with Michael Keaton, I think. And I've seen it firsthand, and so that's why I'm really excited about this session, because I think that no matter where you are in the educational landscape, you're going to be able to take away the concept of stations and then how you can actually make that work well in this learning management system that we all love. So I'm super stoked about that. And yes, shameless plug. I'll allow it.
Allow it.
We'll start off with that one just in case anyone had to go early in the sessions. Got that one right at the forefront. And then I'll kind of let Lindsey speak to this next one.
So anytime you see Diana Knox's name next to something, you want to add it to your agenda, put it in your backpack, because learning from her is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. And this is going to be an incredible session on ways to really enhance or elevate your student engagement within the LMS. So this is on my agenda, and I hope that you guys will add it to yours as well, because like she says, building better, stronger relationships with students is probably all of our number one priority. So add that to your backpack, agenda, all of the above.
Well, and we
sure.
know, especially in the changing landscape of the world at this point, like students are probably more comfortable kind of creating relationships via a digital platform than ever before. And so tapping into something that they're already used to and being able to build a relationship with them, it's hard. It's not something I think I'm officially a millennial. think maybe I don't really want to put that out there.
Whoops.
But me as a millennial, like I may not be as comfortable with that. And like, okay, how does that really work? How do I build relationships through Canvas with my students? But our students are way more well-versed in that. And so I'm excited for this session to see what things she has to share with us to be able to take back to my teachers as well.
Yeah, Diana is great. She is an Indiana educator, so humble brag on the Indiana folks. She does great things, and she also happens to be one of the people that sort of leads and facilitates the Indiana Canvas user group, which is really awesome because it gives everybody the opportunity to kind of like what we're doing here, kind of like what we're going to be doing on Thursday is to get together and brainstorm and think through things and hear other perspectives. How'd you figure this out? How'd you fix this? And Diana is just the most generous educator I think I've ever met. And she's just like, let's do it. Let's figure it out. There's never a no, which I just absolutely love.
And I think what's so cool about a lot of the people that we're sharing that are hosting these sessions coming up on Thursday is that a lot of them are very much like, our session doesn't end here. Like reach out to me on Twitter, reach out to me in whatever platform you have available. And they get back to you. Like that's where I kind of joke that like, I've never met Marcus, but we're friends because so much of the Canvas fam really is like, it's a real thing. Like you reach out to someone on Twitter, you're going to hear back. I had some questions about some stuff that was happening in Texas education where my family lives outside of Kansas. And I had someone get back to me and like gave me some resources of what was going on in Texas. And so I don't know, it's really nice to know that you have that network, especially when it's in a virtual event. And, it is, we've already recorded our session, it'll be on demand on Thursday. But those people are real people and they're definitely willing to answer questions. I love when we get those messages on Twitter, asking us questions from a session someone's attended or asking for a resource. We are more than willing to share anything that we put out there. And so know that there's real people behind these sessions that are more than willing to continue and help. So
the power of this community, you got to love it.
Right.
Yeah. So this next one, UDL is just an area that I am so interested in exploring more of. I've purchased a couple of books recently, but haven't quite had the time to dive into those. So but three kids make it a little hard to get much reading in. So normally start a chapter, highlight it all up, and then 6 months later end up coming back to it. But I'm really excited about this session because it's something I can kind of take in about 20-30 minutes and have some stuff to take back at the beginning of the school year, because I think that there's a lot of power in that universal design for students and the things that it can, the doors that it can open for our students, I think is so incredibly powerful. So I just cannot wait for this session.
The thing, UDL for me, it's one of these things where like I learned how to design sort of, as they say, that you kind of are building the plane while you're flying. Mm-hmm. And I always felt that was the case for me as a teacher. And I was doing it to accomplish tasks, but I'm confident that I wasn't always designing for all of the learners in my classroom. And I've been lucky enough to attend a bunch of sessions and that have taught me a lot. And I think that, if you're a teacher right now, I think regardless of where you are in your Canvas journey, this is one of those that you can guarantee to come to either live or on demand. Because I know that a lot of folks have been sort of kind of treading water with digital design and with, maybe with Canvas altogether, because you're one of those case stories that like you got Canvas 2 years ago and you've been in survival mode. So yeah, you kind of got things done and you got things to work. But there's that next layer. That's the next layer of like making sure that everyone can see and hear and read and making sure that things are differentiated. And that's like that superpower level. And so that's what I'm excited about, is because experienced folks can come to this and sort of learn or recalibrate. And if you're brand new to Canvas, you can learn it right from the beginning, unlike Marcus, because, learning this side of things which is an integral part of what we do, I found it difficult because I had to break bad habits in design. And so, we see that all the time in courses and so forth. So I'm really excited because I think this is one where the blanket falls on top of everybody that's using Canvas, K through higher ed.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And I think it's here's what I was doing, but now here's what I am doing, and seeing that transformation. And what I love about this title or in this description is that they use simple, because we know that simple is best most of the time. So I'm super excited for this one as well.
Awesome.
What's up next?
All right. So our next three really are sort of kind of no-brainers in my mind because it just shares all the new stuff that's coming to Canvas. So the first one up, I believe, is just sort of that like, oh, no, this is unique. Oh, I forgot. This is the one that's coming up.
You're too excited.
I don't even know what's on the slide deck at this point. No, this one I'm super pumped about because if you have been using Badger and have come to love that and been able to, add credentials and do all of the things in Canvas to allow your students to gain those badges and feel like they are accumulating these next levels of learning in Canvas. Canvas is rolling out their credentials and welcoming it to the Canvas fam. And so I'm just really excited to explore this more. I haven't had a chance to since they announced this move, and I'm excited to hear more about how I can weave that into Canvas courses seamlessly, so that as the teachers that I work with and their students complete things, that they can automatically be assigned these badges and sort of gain those credentials. So really excited about this one.
And not just thinking about it for your students, but thinking about it for the teachers you work with, your district, professional learning. I think it's going to be a good one.
Yeah, for sure. That's the kicker is and I know Carrie and Lindsey both have experience with this. Is those of you out there who are in leadership roles or coaches or name your title. Maybe you're an administrator in your building or even for your district. We always talk about how you can leverage Canvas in ways beyond the typical classroom applications. And so PD is always the thing that comes up. It's like, why would you not deliver professional learning to your teachers, to your staff in the thing that they are then using to deliver learning to their classroom students? And so, there is no age limit to the desire for a fancy badge. I can confirm that. Everybody loves a badge. And if I can do a thing, if it's a module or if it's a mini lesson or whatever it happens to be, I'm doing it because I want to get the thing and I want to walk down the hall and rub it in somebody's face that I'm just a little bit more awesome at Canvas than they are.
I'm here with two super competitive people, if you can't tell.
I love a good badge, especially if I get a sticker.
For sure.
Great. Okay, so now this next one is the one that seems like really no-brainer. It's just all of the updates that are coming to Canvas.
Oh.
Canvas. And so it's just one that it'll talk a little bit about how the Canvas for elementary settings will continue to grow and evolve and do all the things. So just really excited for this one to hear about the new things coming to Canvas.
You want to be the nerd in the know, right?
Yeah.
Again, I know Carrie and I have talked about this. Again, if you're a classroom teacher, you are carrying the world's weight on your shoulders day in and day out. You probably don't have the time or the energy to get into all the updates personally yourself. And so that's where your tech integration specialists, sometimes your tech director maybe, or your instructional coaches, those folks, which is that was the role that I had. That's what Carrie does. That's what Lindsey's done. And so those people, it really is their role to kind of do that research, to vet through or sort of filter through all of it. And then hopefully if they're doing it right, they're coming to you with those things in a accessible way, in a way that is manageable, and maybe they're designing PD to assist you in the new thing. And sometimes maybe it's like, a quick little one sheet that's just like, here's some things that changed. Here's a button that moved or something like that. But again, speaking to when you're attending sessions, this is definitely one where coaches and leaders can do a little bit of the lift for your staff.
Yeah,
and be able to kind of go to it, take the info, condense it down to the things that are, most pressing, most urgent, maybe for fall kickoff, and be able to help them out with that. I know teachers
as a teacher,
appreciate
if you are
that.
one of those teachers that wants to be in the know on these things, it doesn't hurt to attend, and then you can always lead up as well if you're not
Yep.
seeing those teachers coming to your Canvas like you'd like to. So,
Yep.
And this one again is just a little bit more specific to Canvas Studio users. But again, seeing those new updates, it's just kind of nice to see what's coming and know what features you can look forward to. So.
And I haven't really played around with some of the updates within Studio, but some of the analytics that you're able to see behind the scenes is pretty incredible. So I'm excited to learn a little bit more because I've just seen a little bit. So I think this will be a very popular one because we all know the power of video.
For sure. Beth, bringing some heat here, as we would expect, but she makes a really good point in that, we so often talk about, I'll say we as in me, because I'm guilty. I'm a K-12 person, but I also recognize how prominent Canvas is in higher ed, and certainly all of our Instructure products are certainly making great strides in the higher ed space as well. And Beth points out something that I think is sometimes forgotten, which is, as a K-12 teacher, and frankly, as a leader in those spaces, preparing folks to work well within this learning management system at those grade levels is career preparation, college preparation. We career and college prep things. Yes, you can take an advanced English class. Yes, you can take the nerdiest of math classes. Absolutely. But you know what? There are plenty of students in K-12 who are learning Canvas that are going to then take that into their next level of learning, whatever that may be, whether it's career and tech ed, whether it's vocation, 2-year, 4-year, businesses, retail spaces are doing their PD. I know banking institutions who use Canvas, medical, it's everywhere. So, it goes way beyond the content, and it digs much more into having a kind of a knowledge of the thing. Whose kid is that?
Jeez, get it together.
Come on, Gardner.
Looks like I've got the next
video going live in the summertime. But oh man, I totally had a soapbox to get on though on Beth's comment, because Lindsey and I have talked about this a lot in the sense that, like, if you're a kindergarten teacher and you're like, oh, kindergartners can't use Canvas, just do a couple little things, because then that's gonna make them that much better when the first grade teacher wants to use it, and they do a couple more things. Yeah. And then by the time they're into high school, they're using Canvas on this whole other level that if you hadn't started sprinkling those breadcrumbs along the way, that then the high school teachers are all of a sudden having to make that and catch that up. And so it's just really, when we think about that whole spectrum all the way up into higher ed, like the little things that you can do to just scaffold it all the way through can make such a difference in their Canvas use down the road. So I'll get off that soapbox now and hope my kids will be quiet, and we can move on to our last couple of recommendations.
Step down gently, please. Step down gently.
Okay, so this one, guilty. Well, yeah, guilty, I guess. Never used Google Classroom in my life. Have always used Canvas, LMS, thankfully. But we know a lot of users have had to make that transition from Google Classroom to Canvas. And obviously, it's a great next step for you. But this session will allow you to kind of learn the ins and outs and the tricks to make that a seamless transition. So if you are transitioning to Canvas LMS, lucky you, welcome. But this will definitely be a session that you'll want to attend to kind of learn the ins and outs and the tricks. And
I know that this question comes up a lot in our Facebook group of like, we're transitioning, help. Yeah. So great session to attend.
Will anything work?
Yes.
It's like, I've made everything in fill in
Yeah.
the blank, right? Can I use? Yes,
Yes.
that's the beauty. That's the beauty of this thing, is like it is the it is the LMS that is on steroids, and
Yep.
it's got the strength and the power to make all the things work. And so you're not going to lose anything, So if you've been living in a different learning management system, and you have done that recent transition, do not fret. Not only is this session going to be great for you, but there's just, we've kind of talked about it already. There's such a community of folks who have done it, who have lived it. I did it. And hundreds of thousands of folks. And to Carrie's point earlier, when we started, and Lindsey too, the sort of the community of users out there, particularly on, I'm speaking more of social, but we have the community website, which is all the support, all the vetted content from the company to teach you how to do all the things. But in my case, I'm talking about the advocacy group of folks that are out there on Twitter right now, and who are on Instagram, and who are always the people like the lady said this earlier, that are willing to help. And I think that's the part that not everybody gets.
Right.
If you're an educator, you get it.
Yeah.
Not everybody else in the world gets it. That like if my work is helping you, then I want you to have it. And that's the teacher mentality. That's the educator mentality that you see day in and day out, tweet after tweet, Instagram post after Instagram post from folks like Carrie and Lindsey, and so many other folks within this grand Canvas fam, if you
And
will.
Sean is exactly that person as
Yes.
well. He makes a ton of amazing videos. He finds these like hacks in Canvas, and I'm like, what were you doing that you discovered this really cool thing? Like, it's just phenomenal. So I know that if his videos are any indication of what this session is going to be like, it's going to be a must see. So yeah, excited for this one as well.
Yeah.
All right.
I'll let Lindsey dive into this one. This one we're really excited about.
Last but not least, two of our favorite people in the CCE program, Canvas Certified Educator program. These two are dynamic. They are just incredible people, part of the Canvas fam. And this session is going to talk to you about the most amazing PD in the world. And you've probably attended a million amazing PD sessions, but this one kind of takes the cake. Carrie, what would be your favorite part about CCE?
I just love how I kind of went in maybe even a little cocky, oh, I know Canvas. What is this program going to teach me? And then I went out of it this is good stuff, And so it really just changed the way that I looked at Canvas. It really had me thinking about the pedagogical side of things, and really making sure that what I'm doing in Canvas is intentional and is engaging and brings this whole nother level to Canvas that I didn't even know was there. And so much so that Lindsey and I both now are facilitators for the CC. So if you sign up, maybe you'll have one of us as your facilitator, but you go through it as this little cohort. I'm sure that Valentine and Jim will speak more about it, but in that session, but it really is just a really great opportunity to take your Canvas learning to the next level. And so if it's anything that you've ever been interested in doing and becoming a certified educator through Canvas, that is a must-see session. And again, even for your district admins and principals and such, it's a good one to attend to see if that's something that might be worth investing in for your teachers, because we do have dedicated district cohorts that go through the program. So yeah, I love that it really did challenge my Canvas knowledge and brought it to a whole nother level.
We often hear, I didn't know that, or I hadn't thought of it that way. And just that collaboration and connection with other Canvas users all over the world is incredible. And to get that kind of instant feedback from a facilitator just continues to allow you to grow and learn.
Yeah, I've been a fan since I got the chance to see the beta before it was even a thing. And I remember getting into it and doing some of the work, and I just thought to myself, this is way more important and impactful in an immediate way for teachers to participate in than a lot of what teachers ultimately end up, frankly, spending a lot of money doing. I'm not I'm not here to be the bad guy and say that like, oh, getting, a master's degree or doctorates, absolutely do that. But what I can confidently say is that if you're a classroom teacher who does not have your master's at this point, but you're looking for professional learning that will be immediately, like tomorrow, usable and make changes in your day-to-day, that's what the CCE is in my mind. It's like you can go through one, chunk, one module, have one meeting, and you're already better at this thing that you use all the time, every day, every week. Whereas, you may be in a course at your local, community college or university, and you're learning a lot, but it may or may not be as immediately applicable. And so that's what I think is really great about the CCE program.
John's got a really great comment on the feed that, it's not even just Canvas stuff. It really brings in how to use other ed tech tools in conjunction with Canvas. It gets you thinking about just your use of digital tools as a whole. So there's way more that you get out of that Canvas certification than just Canvas. So,
right.
Yes,
and
outstanding.
We hear a lot of our participants say, I can't wait to go show this to my PLC, my team, or bring this back to my school because it's that transformational.
Awesome.
All right. Well, that concludes what we recommend. Obviously, there's a ton of other great sessions out there as well. I've already talked for 35 minutes. So if we put all of them on here, you guys really would be with us all night. So hopefully that just gives you a snippet of what you can add to your backpack. And we'll let Marcus kind of share a little bit more just about how to be ready for this experience come Thursday.
Absolutely. So there's some housekeeping, as you say, at the end of the staff meeting. We've got some housekeeping items. So we've got some housekeeping items here. Number one, as you proceed, you've seen this already. If you're out there on the social media platforms, pick any of them. But the hashtag that you're going to want to look for is hashtag InstructureCon, all one word. No InstructureCon 2022, no InstructureCon or no nothing shortened. So as you're out there, for me, it would probably be searching Twitter. But if you want to have like the moment to moment sort of narrative of what's happening leading up to and then through InstructureCon here on Thursday, InstructureCon is your hashtag. That will help things. That will save you some frustrations in trying to find all the things and hear from all the people. There are a couple reminders, and it's crazy, but this whole thing's free. Registration is free. So if you go to Instructure.com, there's a big, dare I say, obnoxious banner that will pop up, and it's going to say register. So registration is free. Do it. And the kicker of that is like show up on Thursday because it's fun. And in addition to all these sessions that you can watch throughout the day, there are also social elements. There's gamification happening. You can win things. You can certainly network with other folks like Carrie and Lindsey and all of these other awesome people. It's actually, it's Instructure.com is what you'll want to go to, Carol. Sorry, I saw it in the chat. But I think for me, it's a great day of learning and networking, but it's not just that day. And that's the cool part is that all of this content is going to be available on demand for a good chunk of time after Thursday.
But you have to register ahead of time to be able to get the stuff after the fact.
Absolutely. Yeah. You can't just try to find some magical website. You register. That gives you access to the platform to participate on the day of. But then it also, that same login basically is to the library of resources afterwards. So that means that, you can, sit on your patio or on a beach somewhere, pop in some earbuds, maybe, I don't know, have a marg and, get your learn on. Like we're not mad at you. So that on-demand piece is really, really cool and helpful.
But also when you're back with your team, your PLC, you can pull it up back when school starts and not use your summertime for it if you don't have the time or capacity for it, but pull it up when you're back in school, share it with your team or PLC in your building, and just continue that learning and growing together.
Yes, absolutely. I'm so glad that you guys are here to say the smart things while I say what I say. But Brad has a good point here. He wants to win things. And there's always good stuff. We are known for some pretty good swag, and I've seen a little bit around the office recently, and it's gonna be good. So definitely, you're gonna have some opportunities.
Is your shirt going to be part of the swag? Where's that?
I do not have a sponsorship from this company, and I will not reveal it until they sponsor the podcast or something. But yes, I've gotten a lot of great compliments. This was a Father's Day gift. And it is, it's loud is what it is. So it kind of goes with.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay. All right. Maybe it's just because you're just seeing it up from here. If you saw the whole thing, you'd be like, whoa, bro, pump the brakes.
Whoa, bro.
The last thing, and we're super excited about this. There's going to be some announcements that are going to happen over the next couple of days, and I'm not gonna say anything direct, but I am gonna say that it is social media related, and you're gonna see some magical things happening. But ultimately, what we're trying to do here is we want everyone involved in the event to have a good time, as much fun as you can possibly have in a virtual setting. That's what we want. And so there's going to be lots of interaction on all of the social media platforms. Honestly, I've been in the office today. The amount of shenanigans and tomfoolery that's happening here is insane. And you're all going to get to see a lot of that, because a lot of this is being prepared and created to be part of the day. So, when you can get executives, frankly, CEOs, CIOs, CFOs, when we can get these people to do the kinds of crazy things we got them doing today, it's pretty awesome. And I think it says a lot about our company, but it says a lot about how much we care about what we do and how it affects and impacts teaching and learning. So I think that's all I've got.
You have to go. There's one last question that we have to answer, because it is, where do we register?
Instructure.com. And so I want to thank Carrie and Lindsey. Full disclosure, people, I think I texted them probably like 3 days ago. And I was like, so here's the thing, got this idea. What do you think? And it wasn't like, no, jabroni, stop texting us. It was like, count us in, let us know. And so I appreciate everything that these two do, everything that everyone does in the advocate group and in supporting the company. And I'm so grateful to have had these two on the podcast. And the best is yet to come, and it's going to keep growing. So definitely make sure you check out InstructureCon 2022 here in North America, which is on Thursday of this week. Register and get yourself ready. Get your backpack ready, and don't forget to engage and be active and meet some of these folks that are in the chat today. And if you're watching this later on, start writing these names down. You want to know Brad. You want to know Beth. You want to know Carrie, you want to know Lindsey. Get those names down, follow them on all the things, and get your learn on. So we appreciate you guys tuning in. Any last minute comments, Carrie or Lindsey?
No, and again, like we said, please check out our session and then feel free to message us afterwards. Really, we love hearing from people, and just hope that we can kind of continue that experience outside that virtual world. So
outstanding.
All right,
I'm high-fiving.
I know. Like,
high five.
Hands in and break.
Good job. We're signing off. See you on Thursday. Be there or be 4 right angles. See ya.